dark haze. Ladies of the night with eyes of red, vampires in the alleys where good men dread, wolfmen howling beneath the pale moon. But justice is coming and coming soon. From saloons to graveyards where evil sleeps, they walk among us, secrets they keep, nightmare hunters with souls ablaze, cleaning up this town through the dark haze. Cryptids themselves, yet they stand tall against the darkness, answering the call for every lost soul, every whispered prayer. They fight for the light in the midnight air. From saloons to graveyards where evil sleeps, they walk among us, secrets they keep, nightmare hunters with souls ablaze, cleaning up this town through the dark haze. The night is young, the hunt begins. For against the darkness where hope never ends.
Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us on this Saturday edition of the Nightmare Hunters podcast. The boys are in the house. We all got our hats on. We've all got our show notes in hand, and we are ready to rock. Boys, how the hell are you boys doing tonight?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Robbie, looking all spiffified. I feel left out. I don't have a vest yet, but mine's on the way. But I like those vests, boys. And Robbie, you clean up pretty nice. You got your beard all trimmed up, looking good, brother.
Yeah, I trimmed the side of it a little bit.
I need to trim mine. I'm starting to look like a tumbleweed.
Robbie's pretty.
Pretty ugly.
Pretty funny looking.
That too.
But you're all right, Robbie.
That's right. So, what have you boys been up to this week?
Work.
Doc's been packed in birthdays in boxes.
Yeah. We had Angie's birthday. It was Thursday, and so we went out last night. So
Happy birthday, Angie.
Yeah, she's 29. 29.
And holding.
29. And fine. Anyway.
Doc married way out of his league.
Oh, dude, I punted. I was talking about that day at lunch. I punted so far out of coverage with you. It's crazy. So, speaking of punting out of coverage, Robbie, how about them dogs?
Yeah, I'm not a Georgia fan, but I'm a fan of anybody that beats Alabama, especially like that.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. I will pass it on.
Well, I had a pretty good day today.
Good.
A local hobby shop called Nowhere's Store of Forgotten Lore hosted a book signing. And me and another author, a buddy of mine named Ben Reeder, we were both there signing books. And they had some craft booths in the back of the store. Annette had some of her jewelry that she's been making. Annette makes earrings and bracelets and necklaces. And she sold some stuff there today, and we got to meet a lot of good folks and sold some books and signed quite a few, and it was a good time.
Awesome, man.
We're probably going to be doing it again. They're talking about doing a release party for me when the next Nightmare or the next Codename Wild Hunt drops. So we may be planning an afternoon event up there for the release of Codename Wild Hunt Leviathan Down with copies up there.
Very cool. Very cool. Robbie, you should get somewhere around you, or like a bookstore or something around you, to do a.
No, do it at the Speakeasy.
Yeah.
People come in, get a glass of moonshine, buy the book.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but I don't have time to with working Monday through Friday and then stuff I got to do on the weekends.
Yeah. I know that feeling, dude. Believe me. I know that feeling well.
Well, boys, shall we begin our dark descent down the old Route 66?
Let's do it. I'm looking forward to this one, man. Learning some of these legends on the Route 66.
Well, as the tagline down there says, from neon lights to ghostly nights, the Mother Road hides more than memories. It hides mysteries. And that is very true. Lots of ghost stories along the old Mother Road. And the actual Route 66, ironically enough, Hillary, thank you for sponsoring the channel. That's awesome. Oh,
and Bobby Singleton,
Bobby Singleton
Hey,
gifted
Bobby.
10 Nightmare.
Thanks, Bobby.
Dude, thank you.
Y'all are awesome. Thank y'all.
Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you, Bobby. Really appreciate that, brother.
Wow.
But along Route 66, there's so many different ghost stories, and some of them just a little frightening to others that are just downright terrifying. And we've got some of them right here in Missouri. And actually, the origin of Route 66 started here in Springfield, Missouri. It's considered the birthplace of Route 66. We have a big Route 66 festival here every year. But but it runs basically from Chicago to L.A. by going straight down into Texas and then cutting way back.
Wow.
But we've got stories from all through those, including some particularly spooky ones from out in the Arizona region. From the vanishing hitchhiker of Route 66, what they call what was her called? Mary. What they call her?
Oh, the
Resurrection Mary. Resurrection Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the spook lights of Joplin, Missouri, which have been seen by hundreds of people. The Oat Man ghost town in Arizona and the tragedy that happened there. To phantom truck drivers in New Mexico, which may or may not be connected to skinwalkers.
Huh.
We'll be talking about that. And there are any number of old haunted hotels along Route 66, and one of them just happened to be in the town I was born in, which is Lebanon, Missouri. And we will be getting to that one. In fact, if you've seen the thumbnail for the show, that's the one. It's the old Munger Moss Hotel in Lebanon.
Huh.
But confirmed sightings of ghosts have happened from Illinois to Missouri to Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, California. Pretty much every stop along old Route 66, there's something in that area that's associated with it and very creepy. Whether it's people appearing in period clothing, a lot of hitchhikers are seen wearing dresses or suits from the 1930s and 40s, trying to tying them to the heyday of the Route 66 back when it was those old coupes and some of those old Ford like Model A's and stuff like that back when the early days of the open road. Lots of stories about hitchhikers asking for a ride and then vanishing before you get to the destination. There's lots of different stories about that. Disappearances, people saying passengers that are in the car just disappeared, and a lot of times that when they go back to investigate, they find out that there's more to that ghost story than just them. Like in the case of what they call Resurrection Mary. Red Sovine, who was an old country singer, he did a lot of trucker songs. And he did a song, I don't know if you guys know who Red Sovine is. I'm sure Doc and Robbie do. My mom had a bunch of his albums.
Old teddy bear, I'll make you cry.
if that one don't make you cry, something wrong with you. It's like
You got
you
a
didn't
heart.
cry at Old Yeller. You better have cried at Teddy Bear.
You're
But
wrong.
Phantom 309 about the ghost rig, that's a creepy one.
Yeah,
But he's got that song "Bringing Mary Home,"
real.
and yeah, and it's about Resurrection Mary. And the story goes, in the song, this guy picks this girl up, and she said, "My name is Mary. Please, won't you take me home?" And he said he pulled into the driveway where she told me to go, turned around and she was gone. So he went up to the door to ask about her, and the old lady that answered the door she smiled broadly and then began crying, and he asked her what the matter was. She said, "You're the 13th one that's been here bringing Mary home."
Mm,
Creepy song, kind of a tearjerker too. He was the 13th one who brought her home.
wow, that's cool. Old Red Sovine, man. That's a name I hadn't heard in a while.
Yeah, that's a oldie.
Yeah,
That's from the way back when machine.
yeah.
Had that song Freightliner Fever.
Dude, we all grew up. That was like during the 70s, during the big trucker phase, BJ and the Bear, Smokey and the
Oh yeah,
Bandit.
my favorite
Convoy.
Red Sovine song. Convoy,
Yep.
C.J. McCall. But my
Yeah.
favorite Red Sovine was about the girl wearing nothing but a towel and a smile and a picture on a billboard near the big old highway. I just loved that one.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid, I'd listen to that one over and over again.
That's it.
Arlen says, "DA, there's a small town named Powersburg, Kentucky. A woman asks for a ride, vanishes when you drive off or in the car." Well, we're going to get to a story a lot like that. I think we'll start out with Resurrection Mary. Doc, you want to kind of give us the background on the story behind Resurrection Mary?
Sure thing, man. So the Resurrection Mary, excuse me, incident, this started up near Chicago, Illinois. Now, mind you, like DA said, it goes from Chicago to LA. So it's like almost 2,500 miles of highway, and there's a lot of stuff happening here. So this started kind of at the origin, of the Route 66. And so it started, it says, since the 1930s, drivers along Archer Avenue, which was a feeder road in Route 66, had reported picking up a young, pretty blonde woman in a white party dress. And they said, typically she was very reserved, very quiet, carrying a clutch purse, and she asked to be dropped near this place called the Resurrection Cemetery. So the backstory on this is that Mary stormed out of the O. Henry Ballroom after an argument and was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver. And she was buried in that very pretty white party dress, dancing dress, things like that. In 1939, a gentleman named Jerry Palace danced with her at a ballroom, drove her home, and then watched her vanish at the cemetery gates. In the 1970s, cab drivers reported passengers disappearing mid-fare dressed like her. And in 1976, burned handprints allegedly appeared on the cemetery's wrought iron gate. Now, were they hers or were they another one? But they were small, so they were kind of saying, putting two and two together. Mary is actually Chicago's most famous ghost. She's inspired songs and films and tours. And she's in the embodiment of the archetypical vanishing hitchhiker, which someone had just mentioned in chat. And this is tied to Route 66's northern origin.
And there's a lot of those vanishing hitchhiker stories.
There really are. Yeah. I mean, you hear them almost along any stretch of highway. We have one in Mississippi like that too. So
yeah, I think there's a couple places here in Missouri, and there's a place down in Branson, Missouri. They say that there used to be a orphanage there back like in the late 1800s that it burnt down.
Ooh.
And supposedly, if you go on that road and put your car in neutral and just sit there, that your car will start moving, and when you get out and look, there'll be little bitty handprints all over the car.
There was that one in San Antonio too.
Wasn't that what the first episode of Supernatural was based on? A story like that?
Woman in White, yeah. Woman in White story.
I'll be damned. Well, Robbie, do you have any ghost hitchhiker lore around where you live there in South Carolina, or know any?
Well, there's a Crybaby Bridge in Anderson, which, kind of, sort of. It's more along the lines of what DA said about the car. You get out on the bridge and
Gotcha.
Your car will move, but it's more along the lines of the woman who either killed her kids or her kids were killed, depending on where you're at. to how the story goes. So it's there may be some, but you know, that's not something that I've dug into. So I couldn't say 100% if there is or there isn't.
That's almost got some La Llorona components to it.
I think La Llorona and the Woman in White legend, I think they're crossovers.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the La Llorona is just the Latin American version of it. I think it's the same kind of story.
Okay, yeah. Because when he said it about killing her kids, I was like, that reminds me of that story. But
Sam Stacy says, we have a very similar story on 22 Mine Road in Logan, West Virginia. That's cool. There's those stories happen for a reason. And you know, I don't know what it is about highways, but they seem to have a long memory. And you know, whether it's from tragic wrecks to, you know, just people dying while traveling, or just people that traveled that same section road every day of their life, and when they pass, they just find their spirit still traveling that same road. But there's so much lore on that, from vanishing cars to phantom trucks to disappearing hitchhikers. There's just a ton of lore.
Yeah.
And it's one of the creepier of the legends, to be honest. I mean, because who hasn't been driving, and been driving late at night, starting to get tired, and your vision starts playing with you. You start seeing crap at the edge of the road that ain't there. Yeah, you pull over, throw some water on your face, wake your ass up.
Yeah. I've seen some things, especially driving through the desert Southwest, through Arizona, New Mexico, late at night, like I do when I'm coming home. Yeah, it gets kind of creepy out there at night, man. I'm not going to lie, especially in the Four Corners area.
Well, because it's kind of related, before we get on to the story that goes with Resurrection Mary, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your buddy John experienced down the Navajo Reservation while driving down the road? Speaking of creepy hitchhikers.
Yeah, talk about a creepy freaking phantom hitchhiker. So this was when he was working on the res. He was down in the Four Corners. He was doing a contract, but that's when I lived up near Boulder, and he was driving down. He had visited for a while, and he was driving back to his job. And as he was heading to his house that he was put up in, he noticed a gentleman on the side of the road with tan pants, really long black hair, and what looked like a fur vest that kind of V'd down into the back. And he said, as the guy, as he got closer to him, the lights hit the guy even, higher up on his body. The guy turned around, and the guy had green eye shine.
So that's not human right off the bat.
So that's not human. And he was like, yeah. He called me, and this is after everything had happened. He was noticeably shaking, and John doesn't shake. He doesn't shake too easy. And so he said, I said, what'd you do? He said, dude, I put my foot to the floor and I hauled butt. And so he gave that truck some diesel therapy. And so he kept on going. About 5 miles up the road, same dude. He saw the same exact dude. And the dude turned around, and I said, well, he said, dude, I was like wiping my eyes and like, am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing? Because I'm right here, and I just saw that, back there. And so his mind really couldn't wrap around it, man. He's like, wait a second, am I losing my mind? Did I go through a freaking time warp or something? Because there's no way physically possible this dude could get up here several miles up the road. So, and he made it home, and he was talking to one of the guys on the res in the clinic about it, and he almost said the S word, and the dude like literally put his hand over John's mouth and was like, no. He said, we don't say that word here. We do not say that word here. He said, and yes, they are here. So
I got told a story one time by an EMT here in Springfield, and he was telling me, he said when he first started out like 20 years ago as an EMT, he said he was working a car crash over on the north side of Springfield, over near Kearney and Kansas Expressway. It was a pretty bad car wreck, and they get out, and he starts walking up there, and this girl waved him down, young girl, and she thanked him for coming to help, and she said, just be careful and thank you for coming. And he said, no problem, ma'am. And he ran over there. And when he gets the car door open, the dead girl behind the wheel was the girl he'd just talked to.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dang. Robbie's like, nope. Nope.
I said, what'd you do? He goes, well, I finished my shift and I went home and I drank.
Yeah.
He said, I chased that out of my head with alcohol.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. I mean, but I've heard a lot of stories in EMS and fire and law enforcement of that exact type of incident occurring. And these guys,
any day of the week.
yeah, and these guys are like unflappable, kind of like John, you know, and they're like, what the crap did I just see? It's hard to wrap your mind around that kind of stuff. Just like, you know, the whole lady in white story that we're about to talk about. It's crazy.
I talked to an ER doctor one night. It was late. The ER was dead on one of those rare nights when nothing's going on. And we were just kind of sitting, talking, shooting the shit. I was working security in the ER that night, and we're just talking, telling stories. And I told him that one of the stories that I had of weird crap at Cox North, and he goes, "Well, I got a weird one for you." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "This one happened to me right here as this was over at South." He said, "This happened right here in this ER." I'm like, "Really? What happened?" He said, "We get a call saying the ambulance is coming in, and the guy's flatlined, and they're working on him in the bus."
Ooh.
And he said, "Severe trauma, motorcycle accident." So they bring the guy in, run him right into one of the trauma rooms, and they go to work on him. He says the EMT's got him back. But when he gets on the table, he flatlines again. He said, I'm in the middle of chest compressions, and I'm looking down at this guy, and I looked over to say something to the nurse, and the dude was standing at the end of the table.
Oh,
he said the guy I was doing chest compressions on was standing at the end of the table looking at it like, what the hell's going on?
That gives me the freaking chills, dude.
That's pretty freaky, my man.
Yeah, Robbie's like, nope.
Robbie's like, well, look at that. It's time for me to be the hell out of here.
See y'all later, Tater.
Yeah. Robbie is officially out the door.
Robbie has left the building.
I'll look a cryptid in the eye, but I don't want to deal with none of that.
I was just about to say something about that, Robbie. It's so funny how the flesh and blood is fine, but that realm ain't so good at all to me. Yeah. Well, because we don't, at least with the flesh and blood, we know. I'm putting this very loosely. We know what we're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Typically, mostly with that side of the realm, on that side of the veil. Well, I mean, is it like we talked about the other night, you know, on the other show? Is it residual or is it demonic? You know what I mean? That's because I'm gonna tell you what, that demonic stuff, that scares the fire out of me, son.
I talked to a lot of nurses on the floors in the hospital itself. They said that it was not uncommon to see a dark shadow flash out of a room and across the hallway, and then the patient in their flatline just not long after that.
We've seen it. We've seen it, man.
I've had several nurses tell me seeing that.
Yeah, I've been there, seen it too, man. And
that's freaking creepy.
Yeah, when I worked security at a retirement center years and years and years ago, before I even got into law enforcement, if that tells you how long ago it was, about 37 years ago, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Me and my buddy Travis we got a call. People couldn't get in touch with their mom. That place was like, it had houses, then it had apartments, then it had the people that had to stay in. So she was in one of the assisted living apartments. So we go in there, and sure enough, she was sitting in a chair and she fell over. I mean, her butt was still in the chair, but her head was on the ground. So he pulled a chair out, and she was still in that position. They had to like push her down. Well, they go to make phone calls and all that stuff, and I was the new guy. So Travis was like, "Well, somebody got to stay with her. You new guy, you got to stay with her." And I'm like, "Well, thanks." So I had to stay for like an hour and a half in that apartment with nobody but me and that dead old woman, and she was sitting there covered up in a white sheet. And the whole time I was just like, Why am I here? What am I doing with my life?
It's crazy, man.
Not fun.
No,
Yeah.
not at all, man. Not at all.
And Jerry Clowers sitting up with the dead kept replaying in my head the entire time. It's like, nope. It was at that moment I realized I was not going to be a mortician.
No, absolutely not. No, sir. No, indeed. I have seen many deceased in my time in the medical field, but negative, Ghost Rider. You could not pay me enough, I don't believe, to do that kind of job. God bless the folks that can do it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, you want to read the story that goes with the Resurrection Mary section?
The passenger in white. The highway stretched endlessly before Jason Nesmith, a ribbon of faded blacktop cutting through the night. Neon signs flickered in the distance, half-lit motels, diners long closed, their buzzing lights struggling against the dark. Route 66 was quiet, too quiet. The kind of silence that pressed against your chest. Up ahead, a figure appeared on the shoulder. A young woman, pale dress fluttering in the wind, her thumb raised hesitantly. He slowed, headlights washing over her face. She looked tired, almost translucent, but her eyes held a plea you couldn't ignore. He stopped and rolled down the window, and she said, "Can you take me a little further toward the cemetery gates?" Her voice soft as dust. He nodded, and she climbed in the back seat, folded her hands neatly in her lap, and the car filled with a chill through the heater, even though the heater hummed. She stared out the window, watching the passing headlights and her reflection faint in the rearview mirror, blurred, almost as if the glass itself resisted her presence. Miles passed in silence, the road narrowed, lined with crooked trees, and finally the wrought iron gates of the iron cemetery loomed ahead, their shadows stretching across the pavement. She leaned forward, her breath cold against his ear. "This is my stop." He nodded, pulling over. Turning to wish her well, he found the car seat empty. Confused, he stepped out and scanned the road. Nothing, just the whisper of wind through the cemetery gates. Days later, unable to shake the unease, he returned. The jacket was there, draped across a gravestone. Her name carved in stone, the date of death etched decades before. And so the legend lives on. The vanishing hitchhiker, a passenger who rides only as far as memory allows, leaving behind a chill and a story that refuses to die. I like that. That's creepy. I got chills at thinking about that. You know, it kind of reminds me of, kind of a reverse order, kind of reminds me of that David Allen Coe song called The Ride, where the guy gets picked up by a ghost instead of a hitchhiker gets picked up by a ghost instead of vice versa.
That's Phantom 309 too. He was caught in the pouring rain, and this diesel pulls up and says, "Get in, son. I'll take you down the road. I'll take you down the road." And said, "Big Joe's the name." And I told him mine. Said, "The name of my rig is Phantom 309. And he even gave him money for coffee. And he when he went in and told the waitress that this cup was on Big Joe, the waitress said, "Yeah, that happens every so often. Big Joe will bring one in."
Or Alan Jackson's song "Midnight in Montgomery."
Midnight in Montgomery, another great ghosty song.
That's right. That's
about the ghost of Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah.
Somebody did like the David Allen Coe song, but they did it about Dale Earnhardt Sr. He was hitchhiking to Daytona and had his race gear in his pack, and Dale picks him up in his stock car and drives him to the racetrack. That's, if you're a Dale fan, that's a tearjerker.
Jeremy Lee's The Passenger from Chris Ledoux.
Oh, I didn't think about that one. Dang,
that's a good one.
A long time.
Well,
there's a bunch of creepy old songs like that.
Private Malone.
Private Malone. Oh, that's a great song.
That's it. That's true. Yeah, there's a bunch of good songs with that same kind of theme in there, man. And yeah, there was somebody else that mentioned this too, and PW did. He said, "Tell them Large Marge sent you."
Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
That was Pee Wee's Big Adventure, I think.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember that. That's pretty.
Yeah, there's some great old creepy songs. what was the Marty Robbins song about then a mighty bolt of lightning showed the face of Jesus Christ?
Oh, that
About
was
the
the
about the
Cowboys.
stampede. Cowboys.
The guy, yeah, it was because they buried him in his blanket and everything. So,
Hmm.
yeah, what was that one?
I can't remember. The Master's Call.
Rob,
The
yeah,
Master's
it's it.
Call.
Master's Call. I was just looking it up on my gunfire.
That's such a pretty song, and
Yes.
that one will give you a chill when
Yeah, it
when
will.
you listen to it too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, buddy. Oh my goodness, good stuff.
Well, the next stop on our haunted Route 66 tour takes us right here in Missouri.
Right on.
Down near Joplin, Neosho, Missouri, it was something they call the Hornet Spook Light. Well, I mostly just heard of it called just the Spook Light or the Joplin Spook Light, but I've heard it, but a lot of people refer to it as the Hornet Spook Light. For more than a century, travelers near Joplin have reported seeing a glowing orb moving through the trees. Sometimes they claim it's linked to phantom hitchhikers who vanish when the light fades. Another legend says that a Quapaw maiden and her lover leapt to their deaths, and their spirits continued to glow as these lights. And then there's another version of the story said it's a miner who's out looking for his missing family.
Oh, wow.
But the light, I've been out and seen the light. I remember when I was a kid, my mom drove us down there, but you can see it just kind of moving through the trees. I mean, it almost looks like someone's holding a lantern and just walking through the trees. Some people tried to say it was headlights from old Route 66. That ain't it. I've been out there at 3 o'clock in the morning when there ain't no traffic and you can still see it. Some people say it's atmospheric charges. Someone's even claimed it was electrical fields related to earthquakes from the New Madrid line. Well, I don't know what the actual reason for that is, but they're saying it's getting less and less frequent. That over the years it's slowly gets where it doesn't appear hardly at all anymore. But they refer to it as the Devil's Promenade. And it became a tourist attraction. I mean, a lot of people would go out there, especially since it was along old Route 66. But I remember sitting in the back of the station wagon with my mom saying it should be along any time now, and she wasn't wrong. And I remember as a kid feeling the hair on the back of my neck stand up,
Cool.
and we watched it going out across the woods, and then it just gone.
That is really cool. And did it
Joplin Spook Light.
on the regular? Did it happen like every night or something like that?
It happened like certain times of the year. It's more consistent. We was a summer evening when we got, hey, look who it is. Holy moly. We've got a wild man sighting. Holy crap.
We're sighting. The Yowie has appeared.
We were talking about the Joplin Spook Light.
The what?
The Joplin Spook Light. Have you never heard of it?
Uh-uh.
It's this ghostly orb that goes through the trees down near Joplin. People have been seeing it for over 100 years, man.
Is that the one that goes by that they find near the tracks down there?
I think so. It's been so many years since I've been down there, but it's between Joplin and Neosho.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, there was some, there's a YouTube video on it a few years ago, and they were trying to, scientifically debunk it, saying it was orb lightning or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's all well and good, but we haven't yet confirmed the existence of orb lightning. It's like the cryptid of physics.
That's interesting.
Oh.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, it was. I think was it Roxanne? Somebody said. Yeah,
Roxanne lives down there.
Yeah, she said the spook light has been known to go through cars while sitting in the car and playing with people. From stories I've been told over the years from people,
I've heard that too.
That's pretty cool. It goes, yeah.
And generally, when it goes anywhere near a car, your radio and everything just goes haywire.
So it's definitely electrical. But so let's say if it was ball lightning or orb lightning, because that's what Ozzy used to say on that show, with the Osbournes.
Well, it'd probably kill somebody if it touched them.
That's what I'm thinking. If it touched them, wouldn't it shock the poop out of them?
You'd think it would shock the living snot right out of them.
I would think. I mean, it's lightning.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it would definitely like short circuit your body's electrical system, your
I
heart
think
and all
I
that
think
shit.
it would. Yeah, I think you would. I think you had just got defibrillated. You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
You got a big dose of the Edison medicine.
yeah, Edison medicine is strong in a ball line. Yeah, so if it goes through a car and messes with their electrical systems and it touched people, I would think like Steve and I would just say, yeah, it would disrupt all that stuff and shock the hell out of you. But
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. That's some weird
Maybe
stuff.
if you're sitting in the car with the rubber tires, maybe it insulates. Maybe
Well, glass is an insulator too, but it's going through the damn windows.
that's
There you
true.
go. Good point.
That's kind of
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, at the very least, you'd end up with like Bell's palsy and a hair lip if it didn't kill you.
Yep. Having had Bell's palsy, I can relate to that.
I have had it myself, and it's not a whole lot of fun.
No, it's not.
Although it is kind of, when you have asshole friends like mine that, keep on doing that line from Goonies, you start to feel a little bad about yourself.
Yeah, everybody told me everybody would. They changed my profile picture at the hospital to Little Nicky. So yeah.
Yeah, my coworkers, thankfully it only lasted a couple of days. It really was a true Bell's palsy. I'd had some dental work done, and the hygienist who was licensed to give, anesthetic, hit the main branch of my trigeminal nerve. And so
you had a trigeminal block for a few days.
Pretty much. Yep. And so
like a half melted wax statue.
Yeah, my lower eyelid wouldn't work on that side. So when I blinked, I had to push my eye up to stop it. And then both other branches weren't working either. So yeah, my friends would walk up to me and go, "You guys." I'm like, "Fuck you."
Hey guys. That's funny, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like those are your buddies right there.
I was going to say, you guys aren't the only asshole friends I have.
Oh, paramedic.
I see you have a type.
Yeah. Dude, paramedic said worked 2 car strikes, both shocked the passengers, but just numbed them in places. Piercings got red hot and came off immediately. Oh my Lord.
So it's got a magnetic field.
Oh boy.
It's got a magnetic field to it.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when they do an MRI at the hospital, if they can't take a piercing out, like it's in one of those, naughty spots, they put tape over it and it gets hot.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no thank you.
So, all because
yank your Jacob's ladder out at 70 miles an hour.
I was going to say you end up getting yourself a microwave clit.
Yeah.
Why you say that? That's nasty.
That's horrible.
Oh. Robbie?
Yes, sir.
Robbie, you want to do the story, The Lantern on the Devil's Promenade?
Sure thing. The Lantern on the Devil's Promenade. The old stretch of road near Hornet, Missouri was quiet that night. Locals called it the Devil's Promenade, and a place where travelers whispered of strange lights that danced in the dark. Richard Mullins had heard the stories. Glowing orbs that bobbed and swayed, sometimes chasing cars, sometimes hovering just out of reach. Skeptics called them headlights, tricks of the atmosphere, but the locals knew better. He parked at the edge of the gravel road, headlights off, night pressing in. For long moments there was nothing but silence. Then faintly, a glow appeared on the horizon. First it was small, like a lantern carried by someone walking, but it grew brighter, pulsing, shifting from white to orange, then back again. It floated just above the road, moving with a rhythm that felt alive. He stepped out, gravel crunching underfoot. The light drifted closer, bobbing like it was carried by unseen hands. Some said it was the spirit of a Quapaw maiden and her lover, doomed to wander after leaping to their deaths. Others swore it was a miner searching eternally for his lost family, lantern in hand. Whatever it was, it felt watchful. The orb hovered just beyond reach, illuminating the trees with an eerie glow. For a heartbeat, he thought he saw a figure inside it, a shadow of a man, shoulders bent, lantern raised. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the light darted sideways, vanishing into the woods. The darkness rushed back in, heavier than before. Richard stood frozen. The echo of the glow burned into his vision. The road was empty again, but the silence carried weight, as if the night itself had been swallowed by the story pole. And so the Hornet spook light remains, a mystery on the Mother Road. Some call it folklore, others call it science, but for those who have stood at the Devil's Promenade, it's something else entirely, a haunting reminder that not all lights lead home.
It's only slightly creepy.
You know what that kind of
bit.
reminds me of, Robbie? Reminds me of that, and this is something that happens on railroad tracks, the Phantom Brakeman.
Yep. Now that's something we do have. Just right down the road from my house, there's an old trestle that used to be a line that was live. Rodney could probably back this up too. He's probably heard the story. People used to say they'd park on the side of Saluda Dam Road, right in between Pickens and Greenville County, and they'd see. And this track's been shut down for longer than I've been alive, but they'd see the train light go across and hear the horn.
Yeah,
but nothing except the light going across.
That's crazy. That's like those, like we're about to talk about the Phantom 18-wheelers. Phantom vehicles just fascinate me, man. It really does.
Yeah, there's another song, Miner's Silver Ghost, about the ghost train.
I hadn't heard that one.
It's an old Merle Haggard song.
Huh.
Yeah, it's called Miner's Silver Ghost. It's about a train, a ghost train that goes up the mountain every time there's a cave in and miners are killed.
Ooh, I'm going to look at that.
It's a creepy song. Steve, the notes for tonight's show's in the co-host chat if you want to grab them.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool, man. It'll be cool, man, for this show if we did like compiled a list of all the ghost songs. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Have a ghost song playlist or something. I don't know.
Well, we could probably still put one together. Just post it on on Facebook or like the blog or something.
Yeah.
Josh Turner's "Long Black Train's" technically a ghost song about a train.
Right. That's right.
Well, there are lots of ghost train sightings. I mean, there's supposedly someplace here in the Ozarks where you can still hear the whistle. They never see the train itself, but you hear the whistle sometimes at night. And then, of course, there's Lincoln's Death Train.
That still goes through there.
No, not through Missouri, because it went from Pennsylvania to Illinois.
Springfield.
But there are many stops along the route from Pennsylvania to Illinois where people still, and once like on a certain night of the year, Lincoln's Death Train will roll through.
It's pretty fascinating. I didn't know that. Interesting.
I don't know why I'm not seeing the notes, my friends. It is not coming up. I also apologize for being late. I didn't realize y'all were starting at 7, so sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Well, I forgot to tell you that we had to change the time because we got picked up by the UNX network.
Oh, that's cool.
Speaking of that, we got about a little over 10 minutes, DA.
Okay, Steve, check the co-host chat now. It should be in there. Okay. We've got about 5 minutes till we've got to take a quick commercial break, but we got a good 10 minutes.
Okay, dokie. Oh, why it's not letting me see it? I'm going to the private chat. I can see the chat for the show just fine. So,
it's in Facebook chat. Our co-host chat in Facebook.
Gotcha. I understand now. I see what I got to do. All right, it's being.
He's a little out of practice.
Yeah, he'll get back in practice. I'm glad you're back.
We haven't used StreamYard in a bit, and Mac quit supporting the Facebook Messenger app. And so I literally have to pull it up on my phone, send it to myself on the computer because, reasons. So now I can see.
Well, we're just glad you're here, brother.
Hey, well, better late than never, I guess. I apologize for my new office. My daughter moved back in the house, and what was my office actually used to be her bedroom, and it now is again. So I figured
I wondered why the setting had changed.
Yeah, I figured the gallery probably didn't want to look in my bathroom, there with the door open. So you're not missing much. But
well, the next haunted stop along the old haunted Route 66 is the little ghost town in Arizona called the Oatman Ghost Town. Oatman, Arizona is a historic Route 66 ghost town in the Black Mountains, famous for its gold rush past, wild burros, and haunted legends centered on the Oatman Hotel. It was a gold rush boomtown founded in the late 1800s. Oatman became a thriving mining town, but by the early 1900s, miners had pulled more than 36 million in gold from the surrounding mountains, which, if by today's money, would be a hell of a lot more than that. But in those days, in the late 1800s, 36 million was a hell of a lot of money. At its height, Oatman had just over 10,000 residents, with banks, hotels, saloons, and bustling businesses. But when gold prices fell and the mines closed in the 1940s, the town pretty much just vanished. Route 66 bypassed Oatman in 1953, adding to its decline. But the burro legacy is what saved the town and kept it alive. Miners left behind their donkeys. When they left, they just cut them loose and let them loose out in the desert. And being the adaptive little bastards that they are, the donkeys adapted to living in the desert and bred like wild. And now there are whole freaking herds of these wild donkeys that are just allowed to wander the streets of Oatman just freely. Nobody stops them. And people come from all over. Yeah, they're protected by law. And then people come from all over to hand feed these burros. So they're mostly tame, but they're wild burros. And the legend of these wild burros is what ended up saving that little town.
I'll be doggone. That's cool.
It is
Wild
pretty
burros
cool.
that eat sagebrush.
Yeah.
And DA, that money, the 36 million, I just did a quick Google. It's worth 1.35 billion
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
today in today's money. Yeah, that's nuts.
Isn't it?
That is a lot of moolah.
I'd be happy with the 36 million.
No kidding. I agree.
At this point, I'd be happy with 3,600.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, I read something on Facebook. Somebody said, if somebody offered you $1,000 to call you ugly, would you let them? I'm like, I'm ugly, not stupid. Give me the $1,000.
Exactly. Amen, dude.
Seriously. Shoot, people do that crap for free.
No kidding.
I like the cash.
Is this a theoretical question, or you got that $1,000 on you?
Correct.
Cash up front, buddy.
That's right.
That's it.
Call me whatever the hell you want if you're paying me.
Amen.
But the Oatman Hotel itself was built in 1902. It survived a devastating fire in 1921. It's considered to be one of the most haunted places in the state of Arizona. Clark Gable and Carol Lombard honeymooned there in 1939, adding to the glamour of its legend. Some of the ghost report there is a guy they call him Odie the Miner. He's an Irish miner said to haunt the hotel bar. Chambermaid spirit, a murdered maid whose presence is felt in the hallways, and guests report footsteps, voices, and objects moving on their own. It's on an area that they refer to as Bloody 66. A stretch of Route 66 near Oatman was notoriously dangerous, earning its nickname from many, many fatal accidents. And then there's Olive Oatman. What's that, Doc?
So we got like 1 minute left.
Okay. The town was named after Olive Oatman. Her family in 1851 was traveling through that area and were massacred by the Mojave tribe that lived in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And since we got 5 minutes, dude. So we're
I'm sorry. I thought
five till. I was
Lene.
get ready to take a pause, but we got 5 minutes until we got to do
Miss
the
Lene
actual
put
break.
3 minutes up, and I was like, "Oh crap,
Okay.
that was 2 minutes ago." Okay.
And of her family, her mother, father, and 2 sisters were killed by the attack of the Mojave. Herself and her younger sister were taken captive by the Mojave, and 1 brother survived the attack, but they left him for dead. She lived a love among the actually, it wasn't the Mojave that had attacked her. It was the Yavapai Apache. And then they were later traded to the Mojave. Sorry, but basically what happened was she was born in September 7, 1837 in La Harpe, Illinois. Olive was the third of 7 children in the Oatman family. Her parents, Royce and Mary Ann, were members of a Mormon splinter group called the Brewsterites. They believed in settling near the Colorado and the Gila rivers in present-day Arizona. In 1850, the family joined a wagon train heading west. When disputes split the group, the Oatmans pressed on alone, a decision that proved fatal. On March 18, 1851, near the Gila River, the family was attacked by a band of Western Yavapai, which the Yavapai are a subgroup of the Apache. Royce, Mary Ann, and 4 children were killed. Olive, age 13, and her younger sister, Mary Ann, age 7, were taken captive. Their brother, Lorenzo, was beaten almost to death and left for dead, but survived. They started out with the Yavapai. Olive and Mary Ann were taken as slaves by the Yavapai. They were with them for about a year, were forced to carry firewood and do manual labor for the tribe, and often beaten and starved when they didn't work hard enough. And these were young girls, like 7 and 13. So when these girls couldn't do the work they wanted them to, they were beaten and starved. But fortunately for the girls, after about a year, they were sold to the Mojave. The Mojave bought them for the massive price of 2 horses. But unlike the Yavapai, the Mojave treated them well. They were adopted by a Mojave leader and his wife, and they were given their own bit of land to farm and clothing to wear, and they were treated well. But the problem was, they were still living in the desert of Arizona, and life was not exactly easy. Both the girls were tattooed on their chins with marks on their chins, which is a Mojave custom, marking them as members of the tribe and ensuring their spirits would be recognized in the afterlife. Mary Ann died of starvation during a famine, but Olive survived and was eventually given back to the settlers in the area.
And that's a picture of her with her chin tattoos.
Yeah, and that's the girl from Hell on Wheels was based on her.
Yep.
Yeah, the girl on Hell on Wheels was based on her.
There we go. Okay. Yeah.
She was in 1856. Negotiations led to Olive's release. She was returned to Fort Yuma, Arizona, where she was reunited with her brother Lorenzo. Her chin tattoo made her instantly recognizable and infamous in American society. She became the first known example of a white woman receiving Native American tattoos, which was the symbol of captivity and survival. Olive later lectured across the country about experiences, though many accounts were sensationalized by the press or just completely embellished outright. But she went on to marry a guy named John Brant Fairchild, and in 1865 they moved to Texas. She lived a quiet life, died in 1903. But that's the tragedy, the massacre of Oatman. So that little town, that town was built right where she was abducted. And the town still bears her name.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Well, boys, before we do the story associated with this one, we are coming up on our time for commercials. So if anybody's got to get a refill, or if y'all need to step away to make a pause for the cause, we will be right back after some brief messages, as Race says, as we pay a few bills. So we will be right back, folks.
Hey everybody, this is Kerry Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
The Unx Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Kathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unx Network website at unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com. The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unx Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to Research a Haunted House can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unxmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unxmedia.com or amazon.com.
And we are back. Glad. Thank you guys for sticking with us through that, and we will jump right back into the show. Before we do, you guys recognize one of those commercials? A certain little fella. Where's it at? Over there. There we go.
I hate seeing myself. I hear myself.
I'm still fed up with the story there, realizing that they stereotype the whole Irish guy as haunting the bar. Mix can't get a break, man.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate though. Come on.
I mean, it's fair, but I mean, I need to call him out like that.
Steve, do you want to read that story? Shadows over Old Man?
Yeah. Now that I can see everything here. Alrighty. Tonight we take you to the Black Mountains of Arizona, to a town once rich with gold, now rich with ghosts. This is Oatman, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. In the days of the gold rush, Oatman thrived. Its streets bustled with miners, gamblers, and dreamers chasing fortune. But when the mines ran dry, the people left, leaving behind only empty buildings, creaking boardwalks, and the shadows that walk when no man does. They say the Oatman Hotel is the heart of the haunting. Built in 1902, it survived fire and ruin. Clark Gable and Carol Lombard once honeymooned there, but it is not the glamour that lingers. No, it is the restless dead. Patrons speak of Odie the Miner, a spirit who never left his bar stool. Glasses clink when no hand lifts them, doors slam though no wind blows, and in the upstairs halls a chambermaid, murdered long ago, still walks. Her footsteps echo in the night, her sorrow woven into the walls. Travelers along Route 66 tell of the hitchhikers near Oatman. Figures in old-fashioned dress, pale and silent. They vanish before reaching town, leaving only the chill of desert air. Some say they're miners, forever seeking gold. Others whisper of Olive Oatman herself, the girl whose name the town bears, her tattooed face appearing in the moonlight, a reminder of captivity and tragedy. Oatman lives on, a ghost town where burros roam freely and tourists laugh by day. But when the sun sets, the laughter fades, and the past takes hold. The miners, the maid, the lost souls of Route 66, they are still there, waiting for the next traveler to hear their story or to join them in the shadows.
Dun, dun, dun.
What do you think it is about roads that seem to just almost absorb hauntings? I mean, there's probably not a back road and byway in the United States that doesn't have some story about it.
Well,
the high number of travelers. You know what I mean? There's so much life, and where there's life, there's what? There's death. You know what I mean? So there's light and dark there. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
well, I mean, think about the emotional energy that's involved in traveling a byway like that. You're either excited because you're going on this new adventure, or seeing a loved one, or you're morose and feeling tragedy because a relationship's ended, and you're trying to find a new start for yourself. There's everybody along those have some kind of emotional state. Even if it's a couple of us idiots, eating beef jerky and telling stories, there's emotion there, and we're having fun. And or the opposite.
Yeah, I think that there's always been this romanticized notion about highways, about the open road representing freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine some of those old, cold, classic cars. You know how cool that would have been to leave Chicago and go all the way to LA in one of those old classic cars, just stopping at these little roadside attractions and diners along the way. Dude, that would just be such a cool road trip. Even though there are large sections of old Route 66 you can't drive anymore.
Yeah, that would be cool. Just not in the summer.
No, not in the summer. It's spring or fall, baby. Not wintertime either.
Mm-mm. Negative.
Yeah, that was back in the days when heat was an option in a car.
And gas was 42 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Or less.
My family would have been too damn cheap to put the heater in.
What we got next, man? This is where are we going next?
I thought I'd let you dive into that one, Doc.
No.
The Phantom Truckers of New Mexico.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. So, the Phantom Truckers of New Mexico happen to be one of the more chilling legends tied to Route 66, and its infamous offshoot known as U.S. Route. And this is real, folks. U.S. Route 666. It was known as the Devil's Highway, where drivers reportedly ghostly semi-trucks barreling down the desert roads, blazing with unnatural fire, and only to vanish before they impact. Now, it started in 1926. It was a 193-mile stretch of road through New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. And it was designated U.S. Route 666, a branch of the Route 66. And the number 666 quickly earned the Devil's Highway. It had a bad reputation. They called it, they had a bad reputation for high accident rates, poor infrastructure, and a lot of eerie stories. And so the locals connected these tragedies to the supernatural forces that they were thinking there. So they were trying to justify what was happening or why it was happening. Now, in 2003, it was officially changed to U.S. Route 491. A lot of it was to shed the bad rep. And I think a lot of it had to do with they had to reduce the theft of the Route 666 signs, because those were very popular with roadside sign collectors. Some of the things people would see they'd see a phantom truck encounter. Truckers and travelers describe these 18-wheelers engulfed in flames, roaring down the highway at crazy speeds, and they would, witnesses claim the trucks would force them off the road, and then they'd vanish. Some people would say they heard laughter from the cab, or headlights burning brighter than anything else, probably like today's LED lights. And then the vanishing convoy. Another tale talks about a convoy of 3 trucks moving in perfect formation across the desert, and they don't cast any shadows in daylight, and they disappear on the horizon, kind of like a mirage. Other things you may hear along this route are called the faceless hitchhiker, which is a stranded girl who has no facial features. They report picking up this girl. She drifts into the car like a mist and then vanishes. Also, demon dogs, the huge black dogs with glowing yellow eyes, are said to attack tires along the Devil's Highway. There's also other stories with the black dog and trucker lore as well. Skinwalker lore. Here we go. This is something DA alluded to earlier in the show, is where the Navajo tradition warns of these shapeshifters stalk in the night, sometimes appearing as old men draped in animal skins. Huh. That sounds familiar, doesn't it, DA?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Like what happened to your buddy John?
Yeah, exactly. He had that fur coat vest thing on. Why does this legend continue? Well, isolation. I mean, these desert roads create the perfect environment, the perfect stage for supernatural stuff, and the high crash rate on that particular route gave credibility. So people were like, "Well, it's cursed because all these trucks are crashing. Are the trucks crashing because it's cursed, or are they just crashing and then people are saying it's cursed?" And there's
another quality to that too. If you've ever driven the Navajo reservation near Shiprock at night, that is one creepy ass section of highway.
Well, it is 100%. I've been through there, and like I was saying, man, the desert Southwest in the middle of the night is a creepy place, and I have not stopped because I was like, I'm not stopping until I get out of here. And even though I was exhausted, I just kept on going. I mean, that's not a place where I was going to take a freaking nap.
But 491 is still shit road.
Yeah.
I drove through there a few years ago on the way to Santa Fe, and it was like, it was one of those places where, you feel like your supper is trying to leave you through the southern route. And you're like, I don't feel comfortable pooping here.
Right.
We're going to pucker until we get to the next nicer part of the state.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but you blend all that with the truckers and the Navajo mythology and its reputation, and man, you get like the trifecta for the urban legend, the ultimate urban legend. So, and also thinking about a flaming ghost truck, like Ghost Rider and a semi. That's kind of a terrifying thing to even think about. The big thing with the Route 666 is all of these stories and everything. It embodies the dangers of these desert highways, and so basically it's like a cautionary tale, and it blends that trucking lore along with Navajos and also with the rest of, even though it's an offshoot, it was the rest of Route 66's legacy of being haunted. So pretty cool stuff.
I was reading a bunch of stories on haunted highway encounters, and the one that I thought was the weirdest was there was a trucker who filled up his tanks, both the big tanks. He filled both his tanks in Gallup, New Mexico, and he said just a few miles outside of town, this bright light was blinding him. It was coming from above the truck, and he starts slowing down because he can't see and ends up pulling off to the side of the road. And there's this super bright flash of light, and then it goes black. And when he said he came to, found out, when he realized where he was at again, when the light faded and he came to again, he still had a full tank of gas, and he was just outside Needles, California.
That's pretty good range for a couple of saddle tanks.
Yeah.
That's not odd. Not at all.
He woke up on the other side of Arizona.
Wow. Huh. Well, that's some creepy territory out there.
That is.
Weird things happen, man.
It's probably completely unrelated, but Roswell's not too far off of 491.
I'm gonna say
that's true.
Yeah. And in that area,
White Sands.
You're not far from the Mogollon Rim. All the light activity they've had out there, UAPs and everything like that. So who knows?
There's all kinds of weird and strange happenings out in the deserts of the Southwest.
Amen.
Does that make you go?
Amen. It is different. It is different for sure.
So what do you think? Do you think the Phantom Truckers are tied to the Navajo legend, or it's just one evil attracting another?
I would say probably the latter rather than the former. I think they're independent of each other, but you're in such an area that's so charged with all of that history and that energy and everything, that does one cause the other? Probably not. Is one there as a result of the other? Probably not. But is it there as a result of everything that one may experience there, the energy there, the possibility of supernatural stuff? I think so. Or it could be just the fact that that could be a residual from a trucker crash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Years and years ago, that you see running in a loop. It's like the ghost of Gettysburg. You know, these guys manning the cannon crew. Do they know the battle's over? You know what I mean? Or are they stuck in this in this never-ending loop? You know what I mean? Only to do it over and over again.
Like the Phantom Battalion, you know, that you'll see just marching in endless loop.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that could be what it is. So I don't know. That's just a guess.
Well, I think that's a pretty good one. I mean, it was like my buddy Wes, he's Navajo. And when him and I were talking about Moon Valley, he said that kind of dark energy will always attract more dark energy.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Speaking of Moon Valley, I was talking to my buddy Phil Morrissey last night. He came by and was visiting with me and Annette, and I was telling him about the dollhouse out by Moon Valley. And I said, Doc wouldn't even slow down or look at it. And he goes, "Can you blame him?" He said, if you guys wanted to get out near that thing, you guys get what you deserve.
Doc's way smarter than he looks and sounds, ain't he? Because Robbie, you and Robbie were both like, "Hey, Doc, there's the dollhouse."
And yeah, that's when we found out a Jeep Grand Cherokee can actually achieve Mach speed.
Yeah, Robbie was laughing in the back. All I said was, "Nope, not today." Yeah.
You know, the stuff that you guys do on the regular, the majority of people think are unwise. But
well, they may have a point.
You included, right, Steve?
I'm saying I agree with those folks.
Well, you were there that night on Combs Ferry. Shit got a little hairy.
Yes, it did.
It's just so funny, man, because whenever we were out, it was so funny because the reaction is so different. Man, I see something. DA and Robbie, we're going to get closer and see it.
We're going to see how close we can get.
Yeah. Doc. He's going to go the other way.
I'm going to stay back here with Noah and the long gun.
I'm going to be back here in the truck with it cranked, ready to go.
You two idiots try not to get eaten.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I believe in the South they refer to that as a strategic withdrawal.
That is true, sir. That is true. There's valor. Discretion is the better part of valor. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. I would already been in the truck, yelling, "Come on, you dumb bastards! Hurry back! I'm leaving you."
Yeah, I think we went plaid that night, didn't we, Robbie?
Yeah, we went plaid.
Yeah, we hit ludicrous speed.
I think we hit ludicrous speed in reverse before I executed that J turn.
Yeah.
You ever seen a full size SUV do a bootlegger's reverse?
Yeah,
I did.
I would have thought it could have done it.
This is why I carry full rental insurance, boys. If somebody from National hears this on a podcast, they're gonna ban me from renting cars anymore.
I'm pretty sure the guys at Jeep would be like, "We never designed it to do that."
What was that your buddy said when you was he asked you about the interchange? Well, so say a big huge rock just drops on the why would that happen? Don't worry about it. Would it cover it?
I literally said that. I said, so let's say a boulder just punches through the hood and the engine block of this thing from outer space. He said, how would a boulder come from outer space? I said, just work with me on this one, man. Would it get covered? Would that be covered? He's like, yeah. I was like, good. That's the kind of insurance. He said, where are you going? I said, don't worry about it.
Does it cover doors ripped off by angry primates?
Right. I mean, these are necessary questions, man.
I'm picturing him asking you questions, and you're just putting like a couple fingers on his lips.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hauling around a bunch of mental asylum rejects in an SUV, we gotta make sure we're 100% covered.
Two of my uncles are both passed away now. My Uncle Owen and my Uncle Cecil. They went deer hunting together, and Cecil had just bought a brand new like tan pickup, and I guess Cecil saw the truck through the trees and thought it was a deer and shot it. And put a hole right in the door and right into the seat. And they go walking over and looking at it. And Uncle Owen goes, "Huh?" Reaches over, takes his deer tag out of Cecil's pocket, and tags the truck for him.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's funny. I like that. You got him. You got your. I think you reached your limit, though, son.
You want to have this one mounted?
Yeah. I think you reached your limit. It's good. It ain't gonna taste too good. It's gonna be kind of chewy, a little stringy.
It'll take us 3 days to field dress
dressing the seat.
It's gonna take us 3 days to field dress it. Oh man.
3 days and an engine hoist.
Forget the gambrels. We need an engine. I need an engine hoist on this sucker.
Yeah, I got a cherry picker in
First time field dressing involved power tools.
Why do we need an impact wrench to dress this thing? Oh mercy, man! Whew.
Don't any transmission fluid on the meat; it just ruins the taste.
Doc's got the vapors.
We have derailed. You want me to read this Devil's Highway thing here, man?
Yeah.
All
Go right ahead.
So we're gonna jump back into it before we get into some more interesting things about roadside motels. We're gonna read this little story called The Devil's Highway. It starts off, it says, "Tonight we travel the lonely desert roads of New Mexico to a highway once marked with the number of the beast, Route 666, the Devil's Highway, a place where travelers whisper of phantom trucks, faceless hitchhikers, and shadows that chase the living. They say the legend began when the road was carved through the desert in 1926, a branch of Route 66 cursed with the number 666. Accidents came swiftly, cars overturned, trucks vanished, and drivers swore they saw headlights burning brighter than any earthly machine. Phantom truckers haunt this road with their rigs engulfed in flame, barreling down the asphalt at impossible speed, bearing down on travelers and forcing them to the shoulder, only to vanish before impact, while others claim to hear laughter from the cab, and some see no driver at all. Then there are the hitchhikers, old-fashioned period dress, period clothing, pale and silent, drifting into cars only to disappear before reaching their destination like a mist. One tale speaks of a faceless girl with her features erased, her presence lingering, and then all of a sudden it's smoke in the back seat. Navajo elders, born of skinwalkers along this cursed stretch, shapeshifters who stalk the night wearing the skins of beasts, their eyes glowing in the dark, and travelers speaking of black dogs with burning eyes tearing at their tires, dragging cars into the dust. In 2003, it was renamed Route 491 as if a new number could erase the old curse, but the desert remembers. The desert remains, and the accidents continue. The lights still burn, and the Devil's Highway is still the same, a road where the living and the dead share the same lane. I like that.
That's a little creepy.
A little bit creepy.
Just a little bit creepy.
So stay off of the Route 491.
Just doesn't have the ring the old one did.
Nope.
No.
Although I don't think I'd hang if I had managed to get a hold of one of them signs. I don't think I'd hang that damn thing in my house.
Negative.
Mm-mm.
Negative.
I'd be inviting trouble.
No,
That's
man.
Bad idea.
Be like stealing a headstone.
That's like keeping a Ouija board in your house, son. Honestly, I don't want anything to invoke the beast. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
Heck no, man. Absolutely not. I got enough trouble.
You don't think they were playing with fire, naming it Route 666?
You know they had to have been. I mean, come on, man. This was in 1923. I mean, our nation's always been very puritanical at its best. You know what I mean? And so naming it.
So they knew what they were doing, naming it. That.
Come on.
Of course.
I guess they thought, well, it's just a number. Ain't nothing going to happen. I'm sure it did.
Good thing Cotton Mather wasn't a freaking federal judge in 1923. You know what I mean? And boys have been, she's a witch. You know, they'd have been up for witchcraft.
So she weighs as much as a duck. She's made of wood. And therefore, a witch!
A witch. I mean, so think about this, man. I mean, why do buildings not have a 13th floor? If there's 15 floors, why does it skip that and go right to 16. You know what I mean?
Well, at the hospital I worked at, that Steve still works at, the 6th floor is off limits to pretty much everybody. It's a maintenance floor. And that was the floor I chased that shadow figure for like almost half an hour one night. There was nobody on that floor but me. And when I finally cornered in an area it couldn't get out of, it was just gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm just going to stay away from stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like Robbie in that respect. I'd rather deal with the flesh and blood in that respect, because I've seen enough paranormal stuff that I'm like, I don't want none of it. You know, I'll be like,
when I first met Steve, the floor he was on, there was a murder suicide in one of the rooms on that floor.
oh Lord have mercy.
And that room still felt chilly on a lot of times.
Yeah.
You'd go in there. Sometimes you'd go in there. The TV's on. Ain't nobody in that room.
I'm batting
Wasn't the
1,000. I
number
ain't
of
never
that
seen one, so why mess with a good thing?
What was the number of that room? 913
Right.
too.
Right.
I think it was. I think it was 913.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They got to catch, as my grandma used to say, they got to catch up on their stories.
Steve, you worked there. You worked there when that happened, didn't you?
No, actually, so it happened a month before I started. And in fact, the nurse that was supposed to be my preceptor left nursing over the whole thing. He couldn't process it. So at the last minute, I got a new preceptor. That's how I got stuck meeting Brian. And but yeah, it was a bad deal.
Yeah. Yeah. All
and,
things considered, that's a pretty horrible thing to witness.
Well, and the shooter didn't die. They just ended up in the ICU for a long time. But yeah, even that one private room at the end of the hall, 908, there was some spooky shit that goes down in that room. I have seen, the ghosts of like Amish girls in there, little girls that like Amish style dress, and then you turn the light on, they're gone. There's a cat that likes to lay on the bed.
I think it was Rachel that said that
exist?
room. I think Rachel said that room. She went in there. There was nobody in there, but she went in and looked. And when she looked in the glass of the window, there was the reflection of somebody standing behind her.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yep. The creepiest thing I heard was the cat, and with the blinds wide open, of course, you could see the whole room reflected back at you at night, and you could see the cat on the bed, and you could see imprints when the cat moved on the sheets, but there was no cat. Like you turned the lights on and it wasn't there, and it was this. I have no idea. I can't think of any point in the hospital's history when there would have been a damn cat in the room. I mean,
I need a young priest and an old priest. Seriously. Nope.
Doc's walking in with a styrofoam cup of water that he's prayed over.
Dude, I'd be. We're gonna be calling somebody.
Doc's got the super soaker filled with holy water.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. Somebody's coming up in there, because I'll be like, I ain't going in that room. You can fire me.
they've one of the chaplains is a Jesuit priest. It's always fun to see him walking around there because they wear the Jesuit garb, and we always joke around that he's the exorcist. And
I referred to him as the Pope's hitman one time, and he just laughed.
I would much rather deal with a cryptid, to be quite honest with you.
Better get the Frog Brothers in here.
Yeah, you ain't lying,
Edgar
man.
and Alan Frog.
Yeah. I would much rather. I'm with Robbie on all that, man. I would much rather deal with, because having experienced it, I don't like it. I can't see it. It freaks me out. You know what I mean? Show me something I can see on thermal.
Because thermal don't lie.
Because thermal don't lie, Robbie.
sometimes they show up on thermal, but it's a cold spot.
Robbie's like, dude, you need to sit down, man. You're going to pace a hole in this carpet. I was running back and forth as fast as my little legs.
Yeah, Steve, when they were here in January, you didn't get to go out with us. I took them out to Moon Valley, and Doc picked up thermal heat signatures closing in on me and Robbie. And after that, Doc was like, thermal don't lie. Thermal don't lie.
Yeah, I remember having drinks with y'all at the
Penny.
Yeah, that was Doc's paradigm shifting moment.
Yeah.
Kind of like your response when Robbie pointed out the deer part in the tree.
Yeah.
He didn't cuss me out though, Steve.
Yeah, that's all right.
I can see it.
He's a more mellow lad than I am.
It's just interesting, man. I just, and we've all dealt with a bunch of weird crap, but I mean, Robbie, you still have not had a paranormal experience. So, and until January, I'd never had any kind of cryptid experience. And so, yeah, man. Michelle says, "Don't you go ghost hunting?" Yeah, I do, because I'm an idiot. Because I don't know, that stuff kind of fascinates me. But I would still, if I had to deal with one or the other, I'd rather deal with the flesh and blood, because at least if it bleeds,
we can kill it.
We can kill it.
Mhm.
So, if it doesn't bleed, it's probably gonna make me kill myself running away from it. I'll fall down the stairs or something. Even if they're short stairs, I'm still gonna hurt myself.
So there
Break
Doc
his neck on the
was
crack in the sidewalk.
playing handball against the curb.
It's true though, man.
Doc fell down the stairs. There was only 2 of them. The stairs to him.
Poor little fella. We'll miss him. Hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, can't laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself.
If you don't have friends that make fun of you, you ain't got real friends.
Absolutely. This is the love right here. Like me and John, my best friend in the whole wide world. Me and him have been brothers for a long time. This January, he's like, "Hey, sweetie, it's going to be our silver anniversary in January," because we've been best buds for like 25 years. And he's like, and people when we work in an ER together, people would hear us talking to each other, and they're like, "My God, do y'all not like each other?" And John's like, "Oh no, I love that little crazy bastard. That's just, and so, yeah, if you can't pick on your friends, then you ain't got. And if your friends ain't picking on you, are they really your friends?
That's right.
So,
what better humor? What humor is better than inappropriate humor?
amen. And it's just
Time
love.
I got it.
What's that?
What do we say, Doc? Why do you kick a man when he's down?
Why?
Because you ain't got to pick your leg up as far.
I
Excellent.
thought you were going to tell him it's the only way he could reach him, but I figured now he ain't going to be that cold.
That too. Hey, before we get started, I want to tell my corny dad joke to y'all. To the chat. So here we go. So this cowboy walks in the saloon and he slaps on the bar. Barkeep, whiskey. Barkeep comes down from the end of the bar, brings him a whiskey. He drinks, he's sipping his whiskey, and he hears, "Hey, nice vest." And he's looking around. Ain't nobody there. He's the only one in there. Barkeep's down there polishing glasses. And he's looking around. He's like, I must have heard something. So he's drinking his whiskey, and he hears, "Hey, that's a nice haircut." And he looks around again. He's like, "Is there something in this whiskey?" And Barkeep, come here. Apron comes down there, and he's like, "Hey." So I'm sitting there drinking my whiskey. Nobody in here. I hear, "Hey, nice vest." And then I hear, "Hey, nice haircut." And the barkeep goes, "Oh, that's the peanuts. They're complimentary."
Oh, God.
I thought you were going to tell the other one, "Hey, jackass, give me a drink."
No.
No, I told that one. Doc told
Oh, that's right. That was
Robbie
Robbie's joke.
Robbie told us. So there's your dad joke for the evening, chat. So I'll go tell that one in good health. So
And I told that one at work the other day.
did they like it?
Yep.
Did you get some groans out of it?
Yeah, one guy was like, "It was funny, but that was a long way to go for a peanut joke." I'm like, "But you laughed."
But you laughed. You
But
laughed.
did you die?
You gotta
And
laugh,
they stayed
man.
with it the whole time. That's the thing. You put up with 10 minutes of this shit. Who's the one that's got the problem here?
Yeah, laugh. Life is hard enough. Let's laugh at it while we can. Enjoy
Exactly.
it. Like Sergeant Hulk has said, "Lighten up, Francis." So, all right, I'm looking forward to this one because I was reading on this one. So, let's talk about this. This is interesting.
All right. Robbie, you want to walk us through this one?
We at the roadside motels, history and
Yes, sir.
atmosphere. Right. The golden age from 1930s to 1960s, as Route 66 became America's main street. And kind of what Doc alluded to earlier, the reason it was called that is because people get their old classic muscle cars, which I guess they wasn't classic muscle cars at that
They're
time,
just
but
muscle cars.
they were just muscle cars at that time. But that's where they would do a lot of cruising up and down those highways. So it got the nickname America's Main Street. Motels sprang up all over the place to serve the weary travelers. There was fierce competition, which led owners to build oversized neon signs, and that's you've seen all the old classic, especially if you go in places like Hobby Lobby, you'll see those all over the place. With the big arrows and stars and teepees and cactus shapes, just anything they could get to lure the drivers in. Design themes of many motels lean into the playfulness of the region themes. Wigwam Village Motel in Holbrook, Arizona had teepee shaped rooms with unforgettable signage. The Blue Swallow Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico, famous for its glowing Blue Swallow neon sign, which is still there today.
I've driven by that hotel but never stayed there.
That's cool.
Munger Moss Motel in Lebanon, Missouri.
Yeah, that's how you can tell somebody that was born and raised there versus somebody that was reading it.
Well,
if they say Lebanon or Lebanon, then they're not from there. If you're from there, it's just Lebanon.
I weren't born there, so
just Lebanon, Lebnun, Lebanon.
Towering neon arrow restored as a nostalgic landmark. The cultural roles for these motels weren't just lodging; they were a community. They offered dining, lounges, and sometimes live entertainment. Their neon signs promoted comfort and excitement after a long desert drive. So it was kind of like it was the, they took these long drives, but it was just a place that they wanted to draw the attention of people. So that's where they came up with these things as a competition because there's so many of them, to get these travelers that were riding on America's main streets.
And the competition was pretty fierce. I mean, there were those little mom and pop places all over the place.
Well, and you used to go to Myrtle Beach a lot, DA. It was a lot like that down there at a time. All those little mom and pop motels, when we stayed at all the time, called the Hurl Rock. It had one of those neon signs like that, and anywhere up and down that main drag, you had those little hotels. Now, if you don't have a membership at one of these resorts,
communities or resorts,
yeah, you just about can't stay. But that was the same type atmosphere.
Unfortunately, that's what happens when corporate takes over.
Yeah,
all those little mom and pop places were once before. The mom and pop places just get squeezed out.
Goes to hell in a handbasket.
It's like Branson, down here in Branson, Missouri. It used to be loaded with little mom and pop places, but more and more every year you go down there, those mom and pop places are gone, replaced by chain hotels and things like that. But a lot of those mom and pop places are just gone.
Hey, DJ, check your audio, man. You're auto tuning like a son of a gun for me. I don't know if he is for y'all or not.
Me?
Yeah, you were auto tuning bad. Like, was he for y'all?
I didn't pick it up if he did.
Okay.
There, I'll move the mic a little closer.
And
I noticed I'm a little deaf.
Something little Patty said, did y'all know that Lebanon is the geographic center of the United States?
Lebanon, Kansas?
Yes, Lebanon, Kansas, yeah. Not Lebanon, Missouri. Y'all talking about two different Lebanons.
If there is a cultural bright spot to the universe, Lebanon, Missouri is probably the farthest point from it.
It's the Pluto of cultural bright spots.
Yeah, it's the armpit of the universe.
Mos
I can
Eisley,
say that because
Missouri.
I grew up there.
Well, the population center of the United States is in Steelville, Missouri. And if you've ever driven through there, it's about the same. I think the town's got one bar and like a family eating place that's bound to give you food poisoning.
Nice.
I'll tell you a little story about Lebanon, Missouri. There used to be a bar out on the edge of town called Becky's Lounge, and a buddy of mine who was quite a bit older than me, he was one of my older brother Bill's friends. He had a band, and he said, you should come out and listen to us play. We're playing out at Becky's this weekend. And I was like 16 at the time. He said, I said, dude, I'm 16. I can't get into a bar. He goes, "Oh, just come out and tell them you're with us. You know, obviously you can't drink anything, but they don't give a damn if you sit out there and listen to music." So I went out there and I just drank soda and sat with the band. And they played like every other weekend for like 5 years. So I started going out there every other weekend to listen to Jerry and his band play. And after about a month or so of me coming out there, being out there for every show, I was sitting there and one of the waitresses goes, "You guys want another round?" And we're like, "Sure." And I had a Coke in front of me. Well, she comes back around. And I'm 16 at the time. I was a pretty big kid, had some pretty rough facial hair, but I was 16. And she comes back and sets a round of drinks in front of everybody and drops a beer off right in front of me. And I looked at Jerry, and Jerry looks at me, and he goes. So I just sat there and drank my beer. But from then on, all the waitresses would serve me because they'd never asked for an ID. But after that, I would go in, sit down, and watch Jerry, and just sit out there and drink beer. So this goes on for a while. So the night I turned 21, I went out there and I told the bartender, I was a guy named Chris. I'm like, "Chris, it's my birthday. Buy me a beer." He's like, "All right." He pours me a beer. He goes, "There you go, on the house." And I take a big old pull off it. He goes, "So how old are you now?" I said, 21. He goes, "What?" He said, "How long have I been pouring beers for you?" I'm like, "Around 5-6 years."
It happens. It happens.
Yep.
Oops.
But a lot of these motels and hotels started getting, and I guess it had to do with a lot of the stuff that we've talked about earlier with this highway. Started getting famous for having hauntings. Ones like the El Trovatore Motel in Kingman, Arizona, which was known for its towering neon sign and ghostly lore. Guests would report footsteps and voices in empty rooms. Then you had the Congress Plaza Hotel in Chicago that was near Route 66, starting point, haunted by Al Capone's ghost.
Ooh.
And linked to America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes, which is pretty dang scary.
Yeah.
I've stayed at the Congress Plaza. That is a sweet ass hotel. It's creepy as hell.
If Al Capone stayed there, I would imagine so. Then you had the Blackstone Hotel in Chicago, luxury hotel that was again tied to Al Capone's secret meetings. Renovations uncovered hidden hatches used during Prohibition.
Yeah, that's cool.
General hauntings, travelers often describe phantom knocks, shadow figures, and flickering neon signs that seem to pulse unnaturally. Some motels became infamous for guests vanishing or reporting spectral hitchhikers appearing in their rooms. So the neon is a mythic symbol, seen as a guiding light. Neon signs were literal beacons in the dark, promising safety. In folklore, they became liminal markers, thresholds between the living and the spectral. Restoration efforts. Many towns along Route 66 now restore neon signs as heritage projects, preserving their eerie glow for new generations. Museums and festivals use neon. The Neon Museum in Las Vegas and Route 66 festivals highlight these signs and cultural artifacts, blending nostalgia with the ghostly allure.
That's freaking cool. I like that.
And that brings us to the increasingly creepy Munger Moss Hotel in Lebanon. Munger Moss it's one of the oldest hotels in Lebanon. It's been there forever. But just looking at the place, driving by it, it's creepy. I've always thought that was a very creepy place. And I remember going out there back when I delivered pizza. I worked for Domino's right after I got out of the Army. I would deliver pizza out there every once in a while. And going out to taking pizzas out to the people that were guests. We would see weird crap out there all the time. A lot of the drivers would say, I dropped this pizza off and I looked over and this dude wearing an old time suit was getting ice. I'm like, "What do you mean old time?" He says, "It looked like a gangster out of like the 1920s. I'm like, "No." And then I saw the dude and had like those two-tone wingtips on, and like an old style suit and a fedora on. He was getting ice out of the ice machine, and I mentioned it to the lady in the front desk. I'm like, "You see that dude dressed like Indiana Jones back there with the fedora?" She goes, "Oh, people see him all the time." They were completely unconcerned by it.
I've never had an experience like I said earlier, but I'll tell you about one that a guy that I've been friends with since I got started in law, actually a little bit before I got into law enforcement. He was my lieutenant at Easley. And there's right across from the police department, there's a funeral home. And he said he was coming in one day on his shift. He was coming in on second shift. This is back when we worked 8s. And so he was coming in to relieve first shift. And as he was coming in, first shift was getting, he said it's pouring, just pouring rain, like huge rainstorm. And he got a call, or first shift was getting a call to go about a disturbance at the funeral home. So he said, well, I'm close. So I'll just go out there and back him up. And then if there's anything to it, I'll go ahead and take it. And that way he ain't got to worry about it. He can go on home since I'm just now coming in. I think he was a sergeant at the time. He wasn't a lieutenant then. So him and the guy that got the call, they go in, and it had this big open area, little foyer where you first go in, and there's a Starbucks coffee in there right before you get to the main area that you go when you go talk to the receptionist when you come in to do your business. And the Starbucks started closed, and she was getting ready to close the main entrance area. And she said that, or he said when he got there, the little girl was just like a high school student, and she was just like visibly shaking. She was just like physically, her whole body was shaking. And she was like, I was going to close, and I saw this guy. I looked up, and he was there, and I asked him if I could help him, and he just looked at me, and he just walked back in the back and didn't say anything to me. And they said they looked down and they could see, because like I said, it had been raining, they could see footprints going back towards, yeah. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse, Doc. Trust me. So my friend said, well, what was he wearing? And she described what he was wearing. He said, okay, you stay right here. We're going to go see if we can find him. So him and the other guy go follow the footprints. They go walking in, looking around, checking all the rooms. Well, they get to the last room. Guess what the last room is? The embalming room where they get everybody ready. They open the door, walk in, and there's one body on the table. Guess what that body was wearing? Exactly what that girl had described that guy wearing.
Just what she said he was wearing. Good Lord have mercy.
My friend said they looked at each other and said, signal 3, which means handled by officer and time to get out. So they get out of there.
HBO that call. We're out of here.
So they go back to the little girl. She goes, did you find him? He goes, nah, he must have got out another door. Let's just, he asked if everything was locked that way. She said, yeah, unless fine, we'll just keep an extra patrol on tonight. Let's just get you out of here and go. Yeah. He said they got out of there and they went back to the police department. They both were just like,
yeah,
what the hell did we just see?
Dude, I mean, because here's the thing. Why traumatize that poor child even more? You know what I mean? Yeah. She's already had the poop scared out of her. Why wait, yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he must have got out of another door.
That's what you call officer discretion.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't putting that in the report.
Like, well, where he's gone, I can't follow him.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
And you ain't
lying.
Honest
response.
You ain't lying.
He ain't here no more.
Right, right. He's gone.
He gone.
He gone.
There you go.
I'll be right back, boys. Pardon me.
All right. While Doc's away, how about we give away some channel memberships? Let's give away 5 channel memberships. What y'all think? Here we go.
Free stuff's the best stuff.
Yeah. Free 50. It's like Jake Light, Mondoc, Germanic Werewolf, Mark D, and
Scared Silly.
There we go. Awesome. You know what? That was so fun. I'm going to do it again. We'll do 5 more.
Oh, bring it.
All right, who got these? Moonchild, Summer Goblins,
Minxie.
Michelle, and Michelle L. And who's the other one? Who's the other one? I'm missing it.
I saw the ones I saw. Let's see. Oh, Papa Bear.
Okay, cool. Papa Bear. There we go. Awesome. Heck yeah. Congrats to all the winners.
This one they said 15 minutes.
15 minutes. We're getting there. Steve, you want to pick up with the history with the haunting edge, and then go on, run it down to where the story is?
Sure, will do. All righty. So this is more about the Munger Moss Hotel, because, it ain't gotten scary enough yet. It was founded in 1946 as a cabin court after relocating from Devil's Elbow, Missouri. Well, that's not, remotely concerning
at all.
Yeah. I think the correct response is screw you, Robbie. Expanded in the 1960s to include dozens of rooms, each decorated with the Route 66 theme. Its giant neon sign, restored in 2010, became a beacon for travelers. Yet many guests described the glow as strangely hypnotic, flickering at odd hours, even when switched off.
And it's blood red, too.
Yeah, it is a creepy ass sign. It's something that you'd expect to, you could record a movie in like that sepia tone and do like a zombie film or something with it in the background. I've driven by that many times. Never had a desire to stay there, but I've driven by it.
No thanks.
It was owned for decades by Rob and Ramona Lehman, who welcomed guests from around the world until its closure in 2025. There's been a lot of creepy lore and guest experiences associated with that. Some of these are phantom footsteps. Guests reporting hearing footsteps pacing outside their rooms late at night, although the walkways were empty. Flickering neon. The sign sometimes pulsed like a heartbeat, unnerving travelers who swore it followed them down the road. Themed rooms. Some Route 66 decorated rooms carry an eerie vibe. Guests claiming the radios turned on by themselves, playing static or old country songs. Cold spots in rooms. Even with the air conditioning off, certain rooms were described as icy cold, especially near the corners where original cabin walls once stood. And shadowy figures. A few travelers spoke of seeing silhouettes in the neon glow outside their windows, figures that vanished when approached. So why does it feel haunted? Well, Lebanon sits at a crossroads of Route 66. Wow, let's try it again. Route 66 history. No. Where countless travelers pass through, some never reaching their destinations. The motel's cabin court design with garages between rooms created liminal spaces that feel isolated and exposed. And of course, it has a cultural memory. Like many roadside motels, Munger Moss became a repository of stories, joyful vacations, tragic accidents, and whispered encounters. In short, the Munger Moss Motel is remembered not only for its glowing neon sign of Route 66 hospitality, but also for unsettling reports of phantom footsteps, flickering lights, and shadowy figures, making it one of the Mother Road's eeriest roadside haunts. I remember the way that was situated. It was always kind of creepy too, because it didn't appear to be on that high a point, but it was on kind of a high point relative to the rest of the road. So like you would,
just sit kind of at the top of a hill.
Yeah, it would come up on you as you're heading east to west, but then once you get past it, it follows you forever. It's like you're on this. You feel like you're going up and down hills, but you must be on the steady downgrade the entire time so you can see it. And, some of those.
Yeah, when you're heading out of Lebanon, that thing stays in your rear view for a good long while.
Oh, yeah. You see it much longer than you should. It's kind of like that candy place on Highway 44 that. What is the name of it?
Oh, the one out by Phillipsburg?
Yeah.
I know
you
which
see
one,
that
but
one.
I can't think of the name of it. Redmond's.
Yeah.
Redmond's.
Yeah. Like I swear for 10 miles past that place, you could see the damn sign with the little cartoon dude on it. I'm like, why do I still see this?
DA Long Queen wants to know if there's any ley lines that intersect Route 66.
I was thinking that. That's a great
There
question.
very well could be. Doc, you want to look up ley lines and see if any of them follow or cross route? Well, I know a lot of, considering how long Route 66 is, I guarantee there's a lot of ley lines that cross it. But whether or not any of the Route 66 follows any ley lines might be a whole different matter. But I'm going to do the last story. And this story, it's creepy for a couple of reasons, because I've heard versions of this story firsthand from people that stayed there since I was a little kid. The story's called The Neon That Never Sleeps. On Route 66, where the Mother Road winds through Missouri, stands a beacon of light, the Munger Moss Motel. For decades, its towering neon arrow promised weary travelers rest, but some who checked in found something else, something that never left. A salesman arrived late one summer night in 1963. He was tired, his eyes heavy from the long drive. The neon sign flickered as he parked, bright, then dim, then pulsing like a heartbeat. He thought nothing of it. He checked into room 14, dropped his suitcase, and collapsed onto the bed. Minutes later, he heard footsteps pacing the walkway, slow, deliberate. He opened the door, no one was there. Only the neon glow casting long shadows across the empty lot. He shut the door, uneasy, and turned on the radio. It hissed with static, then played a song he hadn't heard in years, a song from a jukebox in a bar long closed. The salesman lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The air grew cold, his breath visible in the dark. From the corner of the room, a shadow stretched upward, taller than the lamp, darker than the night. It moved when he didn't. He whispered, "Who's there?" But the only answer was the flicker of the neon outside, pulsing faster and brighter until the room glowed red. In the morning, the maid found the room empty. The bed was unmade, the suitcase was gone, but on the nightstand lay a single receipt, dated 10 years earlier, signed by a guest who had vanished without a trace. The name matched the salesman. They say the neon at the Munger Moss never sleeps. It remembers every traveler who passed beneath its glow, and sometimes it calls them back.
Yeah.
That article said they closed Munger Moss in 2025, so it just shut it down this year. And they just restored it just a few years ago. But it was still, even restored, it was still a very creepy ass hotel.
Haunted hotel.
What kind of crap they stirred up in the restoration?
Yeah.
That may have been why they shut it down. Look, we just pissed it off.
Yeah. In regards to the ley lines and everything, I couldn't find any definitive map. I could find Route 66 map. I couldn't find any combo of ley lines in Route 66. That'd be something I'd like to look at. Maybe do an overlay on the same scale to see where they are and if they're
considering how many ley lines there are in the U.S. There's got to be plenty of intersection points, and it would be funny if the intersection points on Route 66 corresponded with some of these locations.
Dude, I was just going to say that if they intersected at the same points, that would be a cool get everything to scale and do an overlay just like we did with the missing 411 stuff and the caves and the sightings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I'd like to check that out. That's interesting. Anyway.
Well, boys, it's 6 minutes still. We already heard from one of our affiliates tonight. We got to start winding things down because iHeartRadio doesn't like us to go past the 2-hour mark. So we appreciate you guys being here. Check out all of our affiliates, the good folks over at Dark Angel Medical. Use discount code CRYPTID20 for 20% off your order. Best kits in the business. Check out the good folks over at Scallywag Tactical. Use discount code DARoberts10 for 10% off your entire order. They've got some fantastic blades for every occasion. And if you camp and hunt or fish, they've got a blade to cover you. And check out the awesome folks over at SigwoArms.com, purveyors of fine firearms here in Springfield, Missouri. The only place that is officially licensed to turn out codename Wild Hunt uppers and lowers with ARs. They'll also do Dark Frontiers and any of the other books you'd care for, but they're the only place you can get those done. So check them out. They also make their own ammunition, which you can pick up very cheap. I picked up 200 rounds of hollow point. What? Can't hear me?
Oh no, he was just telling me I'd silence my sneezes.
I picked up 200 rounds of 9mm hollow point for $54. You cannot beat that. That's wicked good ammo.
Nice.
That is crazy. You can get a box, an ammo crate of 500 rounds of 5.56 for $205.
Dang.
Sweet.
And that's with an ammo case. So yeah, check them out. They've got some great deals on ammunition, great deals on firearms, and they're a good group of people. So if you check them out, check out SigwellArms.com. Tell the Cody's we sent you, and use discount code Bigfoot5 for 5% off your order. And as we're winding her down, I would not want to end a show without us talking about the 22 a Day Foundation. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. Reach out to your friends and family that are first responders. Reach out and let them know you're thinking about them, especially with the holiday season here, because no one should have to face PTSD alone. Reach out to them, let them know you're thinking about them, let them know you care, because 22 a day is something we can do something about. Reach out, let them know, be there for them, and let's get 22 a day down to 0 where it needs to be. We owe the men and women in uniform a debt we'll never be able to fully repay. They've put their lives on the line for so long, in a lot of cases to little or no gratitude from folks when they got back home, especially our Vietnam vets. But let them know you're thinking about them, folks. Reach out to them, especially on the 22nd of every month. That's a good day to remind yourself of the 22 a day. Send out text, do battle buddy check-ins. Let them know you're there. Let them know they've got a place to turn to if they need it. Because again, 22 a day should be 0 a day, and let's see to it that gets done. Boys,
I heard a positive update on that. Actually, I was taking care of a patient who works for the VA, who is actually one of the board members for the 22 a Day Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the publicity and recent efforts, they are currently running at about 17 a day now. We're making progress.
Thank God.
Praise God.
That is amazing.
I guess every few years they do a reassessment, kind of like a census, and so they just did it, because it's 2025, and that brought me so much joy to hear that. I mean, there's still the 22 a Day Foundation,
mission22.org.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but it's 5 people that still have some tomorrows.
Amen.
Each day.
Amen.
And it's a subject that's near and dear to all of us, and I've seen too many folks buried under that flag to ever disrespect that flag or to disrespect the men and women that fought and died for it. As we start winding things down, we've been closing things out with a toast. And I want to take a quick second to thank everybody for being with us, for being part of us hitting 10K, for being a part of the family here at the Nightmare Hunters podcast, because we couldn't have gotten here without you, and we're damn glad you guys are with us along with us on this crazy ride. Something else. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out the awesome books by this maniac over here, Robbie Jed Rains. He's got some fantastic books out. You got 7 out now?
Yep.
Probably got 7 books out. Y'all need to check them out. Check out the awesome books by Luca T. Jacobs. She's a writer that writes encrypted genre like Robbie and I. She's an excellent writer, very talented lady. And if you like our books, you're going to like hers as well. So check out their books, my books, all of them. You can find them all at Amazon.com or at DARoberts.net or at LucaTJacobs.com. And reach out and help support your friendly neighborhood independent authors, because we don't have the support of the big publishing houses. It's all on us, and we could use every one of you that can send a click our way. So make sure you're reviewing the books, because that's one of the best ways to help us get word out, because the more reviews the title gets, the more Amazon will push it. So please check out our books, and if you pick one up, please take the time to leave us a review, because we would sure appreciate it. And it is now straight up 9 o'clock. We're kind of running over the time. Doc, You want to take us out with the toast,
Yes, sir.
Steve? I know you've got the toastables. We're going to be a couple
sure
minutes
do.
over, but that is perfectly okay.
In
Let me,
in honor of the D.A. Roberts books, we have the celebrity endorsed vintage.
Love that Delmar.
All right. So this comes from the Irish drinking song, The Parting Glass. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be to you all. Slanjava, everyone.
Slanjava, and we will see you guys next time. Good night.
Plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. Three lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, sending evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunted monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel. Doc's a biter, makes the devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul. Can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid. They'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and range. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Full moon rises, bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl. DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand, a force so strong against the evil right in the road. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night.